17-hour work week. Why do we want to work fewer hours? This is not about doing less work. That's really not what this is about. Instead, it's about accomplishing the same amount of things or more, but better and more efficiently. So if you are someone who is ambitious or a high achiever, or you have big goals, you have a lot of things that you enjoy working on, that's great. Then you're in the right place, because like this isn't going to lead to you needing to get less done or accomplish fewer goals. It's actually about achieving more, but being better at it and being a lot more efficient with it. The 17-hour work week, when we're looking at why we want to work fewer hours, is also not about never working. And I think that this is a weird thing in the online business world, where there is this kind of dialogue that sometimes comes up on social media where people talk about how they never work. And that's not the point of having a business, right? We start our businesses because we love the work that we're doing and we really enjoy being business owners. So instead of never working, this is about creating more space for your work to be a wonderful supplement to the rest of your life, so that your work is not your entire life, so that you have a true lifestyle business and your business really supports your life. This is also not about doing stuff as fast as possible so it's off your plate, right? We don't want to just like rush through a bunch of things. Instead, it's about being highly strategic and intentional and mindful about your work and clearing away the unnecessary distractions and improving your clarity and focus on the tasks at hand, so that you can actually make really good progress with them. This is also not about doing the bare minimum. It's not about dropping the ball and like leaving people high and dry, or not sticking to your commitments and things like that. Instead, it's about creating a sustainable, long-lasting, and respected business rooted in high-quality work. Having really healthy relationships with your clients and your customers, holding yourself to a high standard to do a really great job. This is also not about forcing yourself to do work that you don't like. Because again, what's the point in having your business if you're not enjoying it? This is about structuring your business so that you truly enjoy those 17 hours of work each week at the same level as you enjoy the hours you spend on your hobbies or with your friends or reading books, whatever it happens to be. So what we're really looking at is designing a schedule so that you love the work that you are doing as much as other things outside of your business. What we want to be doing is looking forward to each day. And that might be a mix of hobbies and business stuff. That might be some days it's only business things, other days it's only hobbies, right? But whatever it happens to be, you want to be enjoying your work just as much as your personal life. So to give you an example of this, of my own kind of reasoning for even creating this in the first place, I really began working around 20 to 25 hours a week because I found that that was the most efficient number of hours for me to work. If I work more than 30 hours on average, I will be completely wiped by the weekend. So it's kind of around, like, I would say the 25, as a general rule, it's around the 25 to 30 hour per week mark that I find that my eyes start glazing over when I'm at the computer, unless, because there's always going to be exceptions. So if I'm very hyper fixated on a particular project, I might work days that are, twice as long as I would otherwise work. That happens extremely rarely. The only things that really come to mind when that has happened have been things like when I've overhauled the Productivity Powerhouse e-course. And I've done that twice. I think like the first time I created it, and then I think 2 other times I did little overhauls for it. So that's kind of like over the course of 6 years that I've been doing this, 7 years that I've been like really getting into anti-hustle productivity. Those are very few occasions when I'm actually working those much longer days and that I can actually have that kind of focus. And what this really comes down to, when I've been looking at, okay, if my eyes are glazing over, or I'm noticing that my work efficiency and quality and things like that are starting to decrease, by the time that you hit 30 hours, well, what's the point in working when it takes me that much longer to do each task? I can get much more done within about 20 hours a week than if I try to stretch it out to 30 hours, because at that point, I'm really losing time because things are just taking longer. So typically what will happen in my own case, and this is going to, of course, be different for every individual, but for me, what will happen with my energy is that if I work fewer hours one week, I will have the capacity to work slightly more hours the next week and vice versa. And this is, across the board, when I look at my Toggle time tracking software, when I've, gone back and reviewed it, you can see this happening. Regardless of whether I intend to do it that particular week, I lose my capacity to continue to work more hours if I worked more hours than planned the week before. And if I worked fewer hours the week before, then I have more energy to work more. So as in, like, on an average, 20 to 25 hours per week is really the optimal max amount. That's what this really indicates to me, as well as the importance of working according to energy levels. That's always very important. And if you are inside Productivity Powerhouse, or you've been around here for any length of time, then you will know that anti-hustle methods, energy management is all very, very important. I'm also someone who needs a lot of rest. So I get tired easily because I have chronic insomnia and chronic anxiety and chronic nightmare disorder. And so because of that, I need to be very, very cognizant about how I'm spending my time and the way that I structure my schedule. And again, for you, you might have things like that as well, or you might have other lifestyle things that are affecting how you interact with your work and the requirements for your schedule, the limitations on your schedule. And I'm also someone who really loves being able to do other things besides work, right? I really like prioritizing hobbies. I love my hobbies, and I'm guessing that you probably do too. So that's another factor to always take into consideration. And something else here is that, for me, for my clients, and I'm going to assume for you as well, we're all people who are unwilling to sacrifice the quality of our work. So I have high standards and expectations for myself, and I'm really not willing to compromise on that. I'm simply not. I want to do my best anytime that I'm in the workplace, that I am doing work for clients, that I'm creating presentations, that I'm writing my emails, anything like that. So that, again, is what these sort of anti-hustle methods are all about. And this is really, really important when we are looking at what is the right amount of time for you to be working.